What if I told you that right now, three invisible forces in the atmosphere have converged to create the most significant winter pattern of the season? And what if I told you that your preparation in the next 48 hours will determine your entire January? Here's the deal. Comment your city and state in the next 60 seconds, because I'm personally responding to the top 20 locations with detailed forecasts, not generic information, specific timelines for your area. But you have to engage. You have to comment. City and state, right now, 978 millibars. If that number means nothing to you, it will by the time we're done. It's the central pressure of a cyclone over Quebec that's acting as the gatekeeper for Arctic air masses that are about to flood America. At the 5-minute mark, I'm revealing a forecasting secret that meteorologists use but never explain publicly. It involves 3 indicators with confusing names, but once you understand them, you'll be able to predict winter patterns weeks in advance. Stay with me because this knowledge is power. Let me start with what's happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, this second, as you're watching this, a cold front is sweeping across the eastern United States. Temperatures are falling like stones. What was 50 degrees this morning is 35 this afternoon, and it's not stopping. By tonight, many areas will see temperatures 25 to 30 degrees colder than 24 hours ago. That's not a weather event. That's a meteorological earthquake. And here's what nobody's telling you. This is just the opening act. 3 more Arctic blasts are lined up behind this one, each one progressively colder, each one staying longer. This is not winter visiting. This is winter moving in. Let me give you the timeline day by day. Because when it comes to extreme cold, timing is everything. Monday, December 30th. Today, the first Arctic blast arrives. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Temperatures plummeting. If you're not dressed properly, you're in danger by evening. Tuesday, December 31st. New Year's Eve. The coldest morning of the week so far. Wind chills across the northern United States drop into dangerous territory. -10. -20, in some spots, -30. At those temperatures, exposed skin freezes in under 10 minutes. Your New Year's Eve plans need to account for this. Indoor celebrations are not just recommended, they're necessary for survival. Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, no relief. An Alberta Clipper, a fast-moving snow system from Canada, races across the Great Lakes, 3 to 6 inches of snow for areas downwind. Not a blockbuster storm, but enough to make roads treacherous on a day when millions are traveling. Thursday, January 2nd, another Clipper, more snow. Light to moderate amounts, but when you're already dealing with packed snow and ice, every additional inch makes things worse. This is when snow removal fatigue sets in. Driveways you just cleared yesterday are covered again. Friday, January 3rd and Saturday, January 4th. This is a critical window. A storm system forms off the southeast coast. As of now, it looks like it stays too far offshore to affect major population centers. But here's the thing about coastal storms. They're finicky. A 50-mile shift changes everything. If this storm trends closer to land, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, you're looking at potential significant snow. If the cold air sags south, Charlotte, Raleigh, maybe Richmond see snow. This is the forecast that will change most between now and then. Sunday, January 5th and Monday, January 6th, the pattern becomes disorganized. Multiple areas of low pressure, snow showers widespread but not heavy. 3 to 5 inches total over the 2 days across the northern tier. Not individually significant, but cumulatively exhausting. Tuesday, January 7th and Wednesday, January 8th. Mark your calendar. This is when the pattern potentially produces a major storm. The trough deepens, the cold air is firmly established, and a storm system develops. The million-dollar question is where it tracks, coastal or inland. The European model says coastal, which favors heavy snow for the I-95 corridor. The American GFS model says inland or offshore, which means less for the big cities. We're 7 to 8 days out, so this will flip-flop multiple times, but the pattern supports a significant event. Now, stop and comment your location if you haven't already. I'm checking comments throughout the day. The cities that get commented the most get detailed breakdowns. Your specific forecast, not general information, specific to your geography. City and state. That's all I need. Let me explain the three forces driving this pattern, because this is the key to understanding not just this week, but the entire month of January. Force number 1, the Pacific North American pattern, abbreviated PNA. Think of it like a seesaw. When the western side of North America is warm, the eastern side is cold. When it's cold in the west, it's warm in the east. Right now, the PNA is positive, which means warm in the west, cold in the east. That's why Denver is in the 50s while Detroit is below zero with wind chill. Force number 2, the Arctic Oscillation, abbreviated AO. This measures how strong the polar vortex is. When it's positive, the polar vortex is strong and tight. Cold air stays bottled up in the Arctic where it belongs. When it's negative, the polar vortex is weak and wobbly. Cold air escapes and floods south. Right now, it's negative. Very negative. That Arctic air isn't staying put, it's coming here. Force number 3, the North Atlantic Oscillation, abbreviated NAO. This measures pressure patterns over the North Atlantic Ocean and Greenland. When it's positive, low pressure dominates the North Atlantic, and weather systems move quickly from west to east. When it's negative, high pressure parks over Greenland and blocks that west to east flow. Weather systems slow down, back up, and intensify. Right now, it's negative. That's why any storm that forms off the East Coast has the potential to explode. Positive PNA, negative AO, negative NAO, the triple alignment, the perfect storm of winter indicators. When all three line up like this, winter dominates. Not for days, for weeks. How often does this happen? Maybe once or twice a winter. Some winters not at all. The last time we saw this kind of alignment was winter 2014 to 2015. That winter had multiple nor'easters, record cold, snow totals that exceeded seasonal averages by 50 to 100% in some cities. Are we headed for that kind of winter? Maybe. The pattern is similar. The indicators are aligned. The setup is there. What we need now is for individual storm systems to take advantage of the pattern. And based on what models are showing, they will. Now let me give you examples of what this means for specific cities. Because generic forecasts are useless. You need to know what's coming to your doorstep. Boston, Massachusetts. You're on the bullseye for potential nor'easters. If the European model is right and coastal storms track close to shore, you could see multiple significant snow events over the next 2 weeks. 1 to 2 feet in a big storm is not out of the question. But if the GFS model is right and storms stay offshore, you get cold and wind but less snow. The next week will determine which scenario unfolds. Either way, wind chills Tuesday morning -5 to -15. That's dangerous cold even for Boston. Atlanta, Georgia. You're in the warm zone today, but tonight, temperatures crash to the low 30s. Tomorrow night, possibly upper 20s in the suburbs. That's freeze warning territory. Protect pipes, cover plants. And watch that storm system Friday into Saturday. If it trends your way, you could see snow. It wouldn't take much. An inch or two shuts down the entire metro area. You don't have the equipment or experience to handle it. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Wind chills Tuesday morning -20 to -30. That's life-threatening. Schools will likely delay or close. Outdoor activities should be canceled. If you must be outside, full coverage. Face mask. Insulated gloves. Layered clothing. And limit exposure to under 10 minutes. Multiple clipper systems bring light snow through the week, 2 to 4 inches per event. Nothing overwhelming individually, but it adds up, 6 to 10 inches total by the weekend. Dallas, Texas. Cold this week, highs in the 40s. That's coat weather for you, but watch late in the pattern. There's potential for a southern slider, a storm that tracks from the Gulf Northeast through the interior. If one materializes, you could see snow. Dallas gets snow about once a year on average. This could be your event. Not guaranteed, but possible. Los Angeles, California. Rain. Heavy rain at times, 1 to 2 inches through New Year's Eve. After all the rainfall you've had recently, mudslides are a concern. Burn scar areas are especially vulnerable. Have an evacuation plan ready. And even if you're not in a high-risk zone, flooding is possible. Don't drive through standing water. Detroit, Michigan. You're in the heart of the lake effect zone. Snow off Lakes Huron and Erie, 3 to 6 inches through Wednesday in the metro, higher amounts south of the city. Wind chills Tuesday morning, -15 to -25. That's the kind of cold that shuts down schools and closes businesses. Warming centers will be critical for homeless populations. Phoenix, Arizona. You've got it good. 60s and 70s all week, sunny skies. This is why people move there. Enjoy it. But don't rub it in to your friends back east. They're suffering. Now, the National Weather Service official forecast, because this isn't me speculating, this is the government's official position. The short-range forecast discussion from the Weather Prediction Center says, quote, heavy lake effect snow expected through midweek as potent winter storm pivots into Quebec. An intense 978 millibar cyclone and trailing Arctic air mass continue to dominate our weather headlines. In its wake, very cold, northwesterly winds wrapping around the exiting cyclone combined with a reinforcing Alberta clipper. Later this week will focus heavy lake effect snowfall downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario, where an additional 1 to 2 feet can be expected through Wednesday. Within the heaviest snow, bands 1 to 2 additional feet. That's not a typo. That's the official forecast. Buffalo, Erie, Watertown. You're getting buried. Again, the discussion continues. For the rest of the eastern U.S., the frontal passage will entail strong wind gusts and daytime high temperatures 20 to 25 degrees colder compared to today. Tonight, sub-freezing overnight low temperatures will be found as far south as the Gulf Coast, which has prompted the issuance of freeze warnings, watches, and cold weather advisories across the region. Sub-freezing temperatures on the Gulf Coast, Houston, New Orleans, Mobile. This affects you. Protect what needs protecting. Pipes, plants, pets. This is real. Now, survival strategies. Because knowing what's coming is only useful if you know what to do about it. Strategy 1. The 72-hour rule. Have supplies for 72 hours minimum. Water, food, medications, batteries, flashlights. If you lose power, if roads become impassable, you need to be self-sufficient for at least 3 days. Strategy 2. Pipe protection. Let faucets drip when temperatures drop below freezing. A slow drip, not a stream. Moving water is much harder to freeze. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warm air circulation. Insulate pipes in exterior walls, crawl spaces, attics. Burst pipes cause thousands in damage and make homes uninhabitable. Strategy 3. Layered clothing. Cotton kills in cold weather. It absorbs moisture and loses insulation value. Synthetic or wool base layer. Insulating mid-layer like fleece. Waterproof, windproof outer layer. This combination keeps you warm and dry, even in extreme cold. Strategy 4. Know the signs of frostbite. Numbness, white or grayish skin, hard or waxy texture. If you see these, get inside immediately. Warm the affected area gradually with body heat or lukewarm water. Never rub frostbite. You'll cause more damage. Seek medical attention. Strategy 5. Know the signs of hypothermia. Shivering, confusion, slurred speech, drowsiness, fumbling hands. The person might not realize they're in danger. Get them inside. Remove wet clothing. Wrap in blankets. Give warm drinks if conscious. Call 911. Strategy 6. Car safety. Never let your gas tank drop below half in winter. If you get stranded, you can run the engine for heat. But before starting it, always check your exhaust pipe. If it's blocked by snow, carbon monoxide backs up into the car. Clear it every time. Strategy 7. Shoveling safety. Heart attacks while shoveling kill more people than you'd think. If you have any cardiac risk factors, don't shovel. Hire someone. Use a snowblower. Ask a neighbor. If you must shovel, take frequent breaks. Drink water. Stop if you feel chest pain, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue. Strategy 8. Generator safety. Never run a generator indoors or in an attached garage. Carbon monoxide is invisible, odorless, and lethal. Run it outside, at least 20 feet from windows and doors. And make sure you have fuel before you need it. Gas stations might lose power too. Strategy 9. Food preparation. Stock your pantry now. Canned goods, pasta, rice, peanut butter, crackers, things that don't require refrigeration or cooking. If power goes out, you still eat. 1 week supply minimum. Strategy 10. Community connection. Check on neighbors, especially elderly or disabled neighbors. They're most vulnerable in winter emergencies. A 5-minute visit or phone call could save a life. We're in this together. Now, the spiritual dimension, because in hard times, this becomes the foundation that holds. 2 Corinthians 1 says, God is the God of all comfort who comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. Winter storms are trouble, but they're also opportunity. Opportunity to be the comfort God provides. Opportunity to show Christ's love in practical ways. When you check on your neighbor, you're being the hands and feet of Jesus. When you share supplies with someone in need, you're demonstrating the generosity of God. When you stay calm and prepared, you're showing the peace that passes understanding. But here's the other side. God expects us to use wisdom. Proverbs says the prudent see danger and take refuge. Taking refuge doesn't mean cowering in fear. It means preparing intelligently, storing supplies, making plans, taking precautions. That's not lack of faith. That's stewarding the resources and knowledge God has given you. Faith and preparation go hand in hand. Trust God's provision, but do your part. That's biblical. That's wise. That's how we honor God in difficult circumstances. Now, the model comparison, because understanding what forecasters are looking at helps you evaluate forecast changes. The European model is aggressive with winter weather. It shows multiple significant snow events over the next 2 weeks. Coastal storms, nor'easters, heavy snow for major cities. It's the snowier solution. The GFS model is more conservative. It shows the same cold pattern, but storms either stay offshore or produce less snow. It's more bullish on frequent light events than infrequent big events. Which is right? We don't know yet. Both are valid interpretations of the pattern. The truth might be somewhere in between. Or one might nail it and the other miss. That's why we check models daily. That's why forecasts change. That's why you need to stay informed. The European snowfall forecast through January 15th shows 1 to 2 feet for much of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. 3 feet or more in lake effect zones. The GFS snowfall forecast shows less for coastal areas, more for interior and northern areas. Still impressive totals, just distributed differently. Both agree on cold. Both agree on active. Both agree this is a significant pattern. They just disagree on details. Those details matter when you're trying to decide whether to cancel plans or change travel. So we track both and adjust as needed. Now, the engagement piece. Because this is where you help yourself and your community. Comment your city and state. I'm personally checking comments and responding to the most requested locations. Detailed 7-day forecast. Temperature timeline. Snow potential. Wind chill forecast. Everything you need. Like this video. It helps the algorithm show this to more people in your area. Your like could save someone's life by getting them the information they need. Subscribe if you haven't. This pattern evolves daily. I'll be here with updates every single day. Multiple times a day if needed during active weather. Turn on notifications. When a major storm threatens, I post emergency updates. You get notified immediately. That heads up matters. Share this with people who need it. Your elderly relative who doesn't follow weather closely, your friend with a long commute, your coworker who travels for work. Information saves lives, but only if it's shared. Let me address skeptics. You're being alarmist. It's just winter. I'm not being alarmist. I'm being realistic. Yes, it's winter. Winter happens every year. But not all winters are created equal. This pattern is significant. Multiple Arctic blasts, potential major storms, persistent cold. That's not normal winter. That's a winter people remember. And here's the thing. Even if I'm wrong and this pattern underperforms, what's the harm in being prepared? You have extra food, extra water, extra batteries. That's not wasted. That's prudent. But if I'm right and you're not prepared, the consequences are real. Discomfort at minimum. Danger at worst. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's not pessimism, that's wisdom. Now, the specific threats by region. Great Lakes. Lake effect snow dominates. 1 to 2 feet through Wednesday. Continued bans through mid-January. Total accumulation could exceed 3 feet in snowbelts. Dangerous wind chills. Life-threatening cold. Northeast. High potential for significant coastal storms. If they track right, major cities see major snow. 1 to 2 feet in a big event. But also potential for offshore misses that bring little to no snow. High uncertainty, high potential. Mid-Atlantic, same as Northeast, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia. Your forecast depends entirely on storm tracks. Could be major snow, could be nothing. We'll know more in the next few days. Ohio Valley. Frequent light to moderate snow events, clippers, and passing systems. Total of 6 to 12 inches through mid-January. Not overwhelming individually, but cumulative. Southeast, cold dominates. Any snow that falls is major for you. Infrastructure not built for it. Watch Friday into Saturday, and then again the following week for potential. Northern Plains and Upper Midwest. Brutal cold, multiple clippers bringing light snow, 6 to 12 inches total through mid-January. Wind chills potentially life-threatening multiple days. Southern Plains, cold but mostly dry. Potential for southern slider late in pattern. Could bring snow from Texas to the Carolinas. Low probability, high impact if it happens. West, rain on the coast, snow in the mountains, business as usual for the Pacific Northwest and California. Bottom line, this is real. This is significant. This is happening. What will you do with this information? Prepare or procrastinate? Help or hide? Engage or ignore? The choice is yours. But your choice affects everyone around you. Comment your location. Let me give you specific information. Let's prepare together. Let's support each other. That's what community means. Winter is here. It's intense, but we're ready. Because we have information. We have each other. And we have faith. Stay safe, stay warm, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next update with the latest information. God bless you and yours.